I'm not the one they write the love letters for. I am just the delivery guy. The postman of stolen hearts. But if anyone had the guts to ask, I'd tell them. Every word I hand off to him feels like a bullet in my own chest. It started at the beginning of junior year. St. Mary's wasn't a fancy prep school. Just one of those small private schools in Indiana where every locker creaks and every hallway smells faintly like gym socks and broken dreams. I was a beta average, unremarkable, forgettable, and proud of my new title as assistant coach for our varsity basketball team. But the pride faded quickly once I realized what being an assistant actually meant. Carrying water, wiping down benches, and worst of all, delivering love notes to our starting point guard, Luke Daniels. Luke, my roommate, an Omega with that golden boy glow, the kind that made people trip over their own words just saying hi. Girls swooned, boys stared a second too long before looking away. And me? I learned to keep my eyes lowered and my chest stitched up. Hey Micah, can you give this to Luke? A junior girl whispered one morning, slipping a folded note into my locker. By lunchtime, there were 2 more. By the end of the week, I had a drawer full of pink paper and perfume. I should have said no. I should have walked away. But I didn't. Because deep down, some broken part of me wanted to read them first just to pretend for a second that those words were meant for me. You'd think being roommates meant we were close. We weren't. Luke was polite, always smiling, always grateful. But the way he moved through the world with charm, with warmth, with the kind of Omega aura that made alphas orbit him like satellites, I knew I was just furniture in his life. He didn't know I watched him fall asleep some nights, breathing soft, one hand curled under his cheek like a child, or how I memorized the scent of his shampoo, or how every laugh he gave to someone else felt like something he stole from me. Then everything changed the night of the homecoming game. We won, barely. Luke scored the final basket in overtime and the whole gym went wild. After the game, in the locker room, surrounded by cheers and the sting of victory sweat, Luke pulled me into a tight hug. His arms wrapped around me like we were more than just coach and player, more than just roommates. Couldn't have done it without you, Micah, he whispered, forehead pressed against mine. The room spun. I smiled like it didn't mean everything. But the next morning there was another note. This one wasn't like the others. It was longer, more desperate, and signed anonymously. It read, "You probably don't notice me, but I see you all the time. I think you're the most beautiful person I've ever met, and every time you smile, it feels like the world's a little less broken. I wish I had the courage to tell you in person, but for now this will have to do." I nearly tore it up. Instead, I slipped it under Luke's pillow while he was in the shower. Later that night, he found it. He read it, and for the first time ever, he turned to me with that look like maybe he saw something in me too. "Do you think it's a guy?" he asked, eyes searching. I froze. "Could be." He smiled. "A real one. A nervous one. That'd be cool. Cool." My heart cracked in half. But he didn't stop there. He started looking around the school differently, lingering longer in the hallways, noticing who stared too long, who blushed when he passed. Turned into a game. One I had started. One I couldn't win. 2 weeks later, Luke came back from practice buzzing. "I think I know who it is," he said, dropping onto his bed. "Who?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Coach Marlowe." I choked. "Coach Marlowe is married." He laughed. "To a man." "You think Coach Marlowe wrote you a love letter?" "Why not? You said it yourself, it could be a guy." Couldn't breathe. He was chasing ghosts while I was drowning. It got worse. Luke wrote a reply. He gave it to me. "Can you pass this on?" I wanted to scream. Instead, I said, "Sure." I never delivered it. I kept it in my drawer, rereading his words every night like a prayer I didn't believe in. Then came winter break. The snow in Indiana clung to everything, even your lungs. Luke and I were the only ones who stayed behind on campism, because I had nowhere else to go. Him, because he said he liked the quiet. We spent the nights watching terrible rom-coms and drinking hot cocoa from the vending machine. It felt different, real. One night, we got a little drunk sheep wine and too many marshmallows. Luke sat too close. his head tilted against my shoulder. Micah, he whispered. Yeah. What if it was you? I didn't answer. Would that be okay? I turned. He was already looking at me, already leaning in. We kissed. It was soft, scared, shaking, and then he pulled back. It was you, wasn't it? Tears welled in my eyes. I'm sorry. He didn't speak, just stood, just left the room. I didn't sleep that night. He didn't speak to me the next day, or the day after. When school resumed, everything went back to normal. Too normal. He smiled at everyone else, practiced harder than ever, talked to me only when necessary. And me? I stopped delivering the notes. They still came, but I burned them in the trash behind the gym. Until one day they stopped coming altogether. It was near the end of the season. Final game. The bleachers were full. Scouts in the stands. The band playing something too loud. Coach Marlowe was screaming, "Focus!" And Luke? He was staring at me from across the court. Not the crowd. Not the basket. Me. Timeout. He walked straight over. And in front of everyone, coach, teammates, Fanshi grabbed my hand. You lied, he said. I know. You pretended. I know. Why? Because I love you. The whole gym went quiet. Luke smiled and kissed me, loudly, stupidly, beautifully. The crowd erupted. Some clapped. Some stared. A few guys on our team hooped. Coach Marlowe nearly fainted. We won that game. But that wasn't the real victory. Later that night, in our dorm room, Luke pulled me into bed and whispered, "You know, I think I loved you first." I laughed through the tears. Liar. Maybe, he said, but at least I'm yours now. I kissed him like I'd waited 1,000 lifetimes. Because maybe I had. The end. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.